Sentire Media.
Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series dedicated to Venice in Italy. I'm your host, Monica Cesarato, a Venetian food and travel blogger. Join me as I share my insider knowledge to help you explore Venice at 360 degrees. In this weekly podcast, we'll dive into the heart of a city, uncovering hidden stories and connecting with the people who make Venice unique. The artisans, the writers, the fashion designers, the bloggers, the journalists, and more. Let's break free from cliché and discover the true essence of Venice, not just the monuments, but the vibrant people, the Venetians. Experience Venice the right sustainable way. You can find me on my blog at www.monicacesarato.com and across all social media platforms. Enjoy the episode and let's journey through Venice together. Welcome back to Venice Talks, Season 2, Episode 23. Hi everybody, welcome back to Venice Talks. It's another beautiful day here in Venice. It's summer, it's hot, the cicadas outside are singing. And today my special guest is Francesco Pannoli from Deep Blue. Ciao Francesco, how are you?
Ciao Monica, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm great today. Thank you very much.
Good. Well, first of all, you're in Venice, I assume, right now.
Yes.
How hot is it? Very hot.
It's today is very hot. I'm on my lunch break. I worked this morning. I was
Okay.
at the sun, and then in 45, 50 minutes, I'm gonna be back on the boat. So
Okay. Yeah, because that's what you do. You are the owner of Deep Blue. What is Deep Blue?
yes. So Deep Blue is a small company that basically runs tours of Venice, especially by boat. And the purpose is to make the guest leaving Venice with a different perception of the city, because seeing the city from the water
That
is
is the
completely
best point. This is the best point of view, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. It's the best. It's the best way to see Venice. Also, to understand better the architecture and the all the sightseeing that are not only in the city center but
Of
also
course.
all around the city. So, in fact, Venice is an open sky museum that is.
I know. So when did you start Deep Blue? And why did you go into this?
So basically, Deep Blue, it's a company that was opened this year in January.
Oh, okay.
However, my experience is way older than that, because I started offering boat tours when I was 28. Now I'm 34.
I was
So
about to say a couple of years ago.
no, I wish that. And of course, I started it as a second job, especially during the summertime, because also I was living abroad. I spent all my 20s basically abroad between UK and France. So I was doing these boat tours whenever, I had time to be back to Venice, whether it was 1 week or for 1 month. And then I always, I always enjoyed and realized that that job could be the job of my life. So, and after year, I decided to come back to Venice to live after 8 years and a half that I was abroad. And I started to, make this business kind of more serious, not only, a second job. So I invested some money. I bought the first boat with a friend, and here we are. So I started as a self company, so as a entrepreneur,
Self-employed, yeah. Yeah,
freelance,
self-employed, yeah.
yes. And this year I opened a limited company
Oh, we're
with
getting big.
another. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't want to be like big companies.
No,
Our
of
aim is to
course.
stay small, to work with small group, to work with small families, because we believe in quality, in quantity. So
And
uh,
you actually, how many boats have you got in your fleet?
so now the fleet is 4 boats at the
Okay.
moment. But we operate actually 6 boats, because we how can I say, we sell tours also for third party tours,
Ah,
for third
okay.
party boats. Yes.
Okay, okay. But it's very interesting because what I liked, because I had the opportunity to experience your services with the boats, is that you use very young captains. I really like that because you give the opportunity to the young Venetians to,
Yes.
and that's, I think did it happen by mistake that all of a
No.
sudden, you just got young people because they have one available, or it was a choice of yours?
No, it's definitely a choice.
Mm.
Because okay, maybe the youngers don't have the same experience, the
Mm-hmm.
same approach with with guests that a person with more experience might
Mm-hmm.
have. But I think that in the eyes of who is visiting Venice,
Mm-hmm.
is always very nice to see that these specific cities of Venice has a future. So as a
Yes.
new generation that is, is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I noticed in my experience is that a lot of people asking me, but are there people that live in Venice? What time Venice closes? Uh, like a leisure park or something like that.
About 11 o'clock, actually, in the evening. That's when they
So
close.
yeah, so the choice of collaborate with young captains is because I like to show to my guests that the company is a young company,
Mm-hmm.
is is formed by people that believe in the city, believe in the
Mm-hmm.
tourism of quality, of people that really
Mm-hmm.
care about discovering our city, and
Mm-hmm.
and so giving to the guest a more longer term, of this
Mm.
uh, of the city.
It's very interesting because recently, in the last 4 or 5 interviews I've done, everybody, each one of you that I've interviewed is someone that has left the city for some reason or another, either to study for work because they were bad enough of a city, whatever,
Huh?
have stayed abroad for a while and then eventually came back. And I can relate to that because that's exactly what I did much, much longer than you, much longer time
Not too
ago than
much,
you.
come on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Trust me, long, long, long time ago. I don't think you were even born. Okay, put it like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I can assure you, you were even born. And I had exactly the same thing. I went abroad, was fairly happy abroad, but all of a sudden, it was the urge to come back. There
Mm,
was, the feeling that I had
same
to go back to
sensation.
Venice, even though I'm not from Venice itself, but I had to come back to Venice, and I'm very happy I did, even though the city is living not the best of its time, let's say, right now.
Mm-mm.
So what actually made you come back?
So yeah, I mean, the feeling you were describing me is really, all of a sudden it happened. But inside, in my soul, I always thought sooner or later to come back.
Mm-hmm,
What made me change is that when you spend time abroad, you discover new culture, you discover new cities, you see using costumes of other people.
mm-hmm.
And then is at that time that you really reckon how unique is Venice.
Yes.
Venice
Yes.
has a unicity that you can't find anywhere else in the world. So, I really started to appreciate that unicity when I was abroad, when I was missing my hometown, when
Mm-hmm,
I was missing my friends, when I was missing my everyday life among canals with water with the boat.
mm,
So, and basically, what happened is that in the last part, of my time abroad, I was in France. I was in Bordeaux.
mm-hmm.
To have,
Ooh, plenty of wine there.
yeah, yeah. I'm a sommelier. I was working in the wine.
Ah, okay, right, cool, nice. Oh, I can relate to that. Okay.
Yeah, I was work. I had a really nice job. I had a nice house,
Uh-huh.
but for some love reasons too, because my girlfriend is from here,
Mm-hmm,
but also for opportunity reasons, for job opportunities.
mm-hmm,
I started to come back to Venice more often because I wanted to see if I really could start a
mm,
business with the boats.
mm-hmm,
And it happened so quickly because basically I decided it in September, and basically in January.
January.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
back. I moved from France to back to Venice.
Wow.
And yeah,
Okay.
and so this happened in a really short time, but is the best choice I could ever made because mm, every day I thank myself to
Well, your
make.
job is never the same, is it? Every day is something different because apart from the weather that in Venice is so peculiar and particular that it's definitely
Yes.
every day is different. But having experienced it on the boat, and by the way, I'm a as I say, terra firma girl. I'm a countryside girl, but I discovered that I love being on boats. I mean, I remember the first time I came back from UK. No, I was a little bit like very seasick every time I go on a boat. But now I can honestly say I got my how do you say my legs, my sea legs
Mhm.
sorted. It is totally different to see Venice,
Yes,
and it's not just about it's the light, it's the breeze, it's the smells as well that are different when you are on the canals going around.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
do you operate also in the? Obviously, I know where you operate, but so we can tell everybody. You generally operate in the main lagoon, so not just Venice, but all of the islands, right? As well as the center.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I have like 4 or 5 offers of itineraries that I propose
Mm-hmm.
to guests, but I'm open to customize every type of tour. I mean, I cruise around Venice, around the northern lagoon, so including the northern gems islands of Murano and Burano, Torcello. I also do the
And all
south.
the others, and all the others that I spoke about in my book.
Yes, exactly. So yes, Sant'Erasmo,
Mm-hmm.
Sant'Ariano. There are many,
Yeah.
many islands, as you know. And then on the south part, so we go, Poveglia and
Yep.
Palestrina and the south part. But and also day and night. So it happens sometime that guests ask me, "Can we see the sunrise? Can we navigate around after midnight?"
Uh-huh.
So I have sometimes this type of requests.
Nice.
Most of time are made by people that really cares about photography,
Uh-huh.
or they want to see the city when it's completely,
Empty.
calm, quiet and empty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm really flexible, I'm
Uh-huh.
not
Would you say that uh, you get him, you started in January, so it's a bit soon now, but let's say from the work that you were doing before, because since you were doing it before anyway in the summer, have you noticed a difference in the request, as in people being more specific, people asking more out of the usual itineraries kind of
yes.
requests?
Yes, absolutely. So what I noticed is that after COVID,
Mm-hmm.
people really like to have customized things.
Mm-hmm.
They ask a lot about the itinerary, about what they want to do, what they would like to see. And what I noticed is that uh, before the COVID, I was doing a lot. It happened to do a lot of shared tours, so
Mm-hmm.
share the boat with guests.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's something that happens, but people prefer to have a private cruise,
Ah, okay.
to have a more intimate time on board, uh,
Mm-hmm.
to feel more, how can I say, treated. Yeah,
Personalized, maybe. Yeah,
yeah,
more unique.
personalized, intimate, to have a more, because I also I guide the guests during the
Mm-hmm.
tour. Me and my captains, we guide them, so we explain them, we answer their questions. So I really see people that they take their time on the boat as a time to stay with the family,
Mm-hmm.
or with the wife, the husband, or whatever, but we
Mm-hmm.
stay within themselves.
So you're Venetian through and through, DOC as they say, born and bred. What's your favorite islands of them all?
So, well, I definitely love Giudecca Island. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's it,
Even though the Giudecca people will go and say we're not an island,
yes,
but they
yes,
are.
you're
But
right,
they
but
are.
they actually
They are an
are.
island.
Yeah, yeah, Giudecca, I think is a kind of the island where you see that time has stopped,
That's true.
sometimes.
That's
Uh,
true.
yeah, because you really see. a community living, people waving each other when they are on the street,
Yeah.
shops
It's
close
a
to each
small
other.
village, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like a small village. And what I like even more now is that there are some foreigners that bought a house in Giudecca,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they really love acting like a local. Like
Yes.
I see people carrying grocery shops around the island,
Yeah.
trying to talk with locals, we interact with them, with wave to people, with because it's something that is I call it Venetianity, it's something that it's a everyday life that we kind of lost, in
Yes.
many city center. So
It's true. It's
it's
true.
it's it's really nice. But also I love Burano, of course.
Ah, yes. That's, yeah.
Burano, it's an island that I
Burano and
love.
Mazzorbo are always in my heart. Yes.
Yes, yes, I love going to Burano after 6 p.m. like in summer.
Yes. And at nighttime after 10, have you ever been like between after 10 o'clock?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been
There's
because
nobody around. It's so
no,
funny.
nobody on the street. I go very often also to take dinner there, so
Mm.
I know the restaurants. I know, I know people there running business. But um, when someone asks me, can we go for a afternoon or sunset trip? If they want to stay a little bit longer on board, I always advise them, please follow my tip. Let's go to
Yeah.
Burano
Yes.
for the sunset because it's gonna be amazing.
I particularly love two things of Burano. First is people, because
Mm.
they are not Venetians. How
No,
can I
absolutely.
say? They are
But
Burano people.
even the accent,
But
they,
even the way they behave, they're always smiling. I remember once I walked into one of the shops, and they're always packed, always busy.
Mhm,
And the lady was so friendly with every single person. It was just me because I was speaking Venetian. She was just friendly with everybody. And I said to her, how can you manage to be so nice and with this big smile all day long with thousands of tourists coming in? And she
mhm.
says, why not? And then she
Yeah,
just killed me when she said that because I thought, okay, yeah, she's right. Why not? And
yeah,
I love it at night. I was lucky to be there when I slept at a friend's house, and it was August, and we went out walking. It was like 11 o'clock at night because it was so hot that you couldn't
yeah,
sleep.
yeah,
And it was us and a couple of ladies sitting outside of a front door trying to get a little bit of
yeah, yeah, yeah. You
air
see,
that wasn't there anyway, but it's
yeah,
beautiful. I love
sometimes
it.
you see these ladies making lace outside of
Yeah.
the doors,
Mhm.
doing like gossip, talking to each other.
Yes. Yes. It's
Yeah.
so nice. I love it. And back to Giudecca, I particularly love Giudecca as well because I think there is a big difference between the Giudecca on the Giudecca Canal and the Giudecca towards the North Lagoon, the other side. That's the
Ah,
part that
yes,
I don't think people ever go to. And when you
yes,
do, you see the kids playing, the old guys chatting and walking around. And yeah, it's true. It's still a little village. So,
yes.
what kind of you said you got different type of tours? What kind of itineraries do you offer then?
So basically, I start with an hour and a half, 2 hours tour. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes people ask me, can we do half an hour? And I say, okay, but
Mm.
half an hour, we can't see
You
anything.
just get on the boat in half an hour because it takes so long sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So
To- you
the
know.
minimum cruise is 1 hour and a half,
Yeah.
2 hours, and it's basically a perimeter of Venice, including, of course, canals.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the district of Dorso Duro, then Giudecca, then we have some very nice but pop view of Saint Mark. Then
Mm-hmm.
we navigate inside the Castello and we get inside the Arsenale.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, and then we switch, we get to the northern side, we navigate inside Cannaregio district, and then, back to Santa Croce and Orso Duro again. So it's like a 360 of Venice, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a really nice way actually to discover and to see different districts, different places with different backgrounds, okay, in a quite short trip.
Yeah.
Then I offer, the Northern Island tour that can be done in 4 hour or in 7 hour. It depends if guests want to stop for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
it can be also very nice and you
Mm-hmm.
having lunch in Burano or in Torcello.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start in the morning, we cruise around Venice, then we stop in Murano, eventually to see the production of the glass.
Hmm.
So something very classy, but I think it's a must to see, because it's something that is part of our
Of
culture.
course, of course,
Uh,
of course.
and then we start to head to the north side. So I always take my guests to these little channels in a very shallow water where there are, crab farming. So there are like
Yes.
there is the soft shell crab farming.
Hmm.
So there are all the warehouses of the fishermen,
Fisherman. Yep.
and in the mid season also we might see also flamingos on that
Oh,
side.
yeah. That is one of the most beautiful sights of the Lagoon of Venice. I was lucky while I was taking photos for my book. We didn't manage to go near them, but we saw them. They were towards San Giuliano, and it
Mm,
was an amazing sight. It's this rows and rows and rows of flamingos, these pink
yeah,
flamingos. It's beautiful,
yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
It
And
shows
uh,
how, it
and
shows how beautiful the Lagoon of Venice and how clean, in a way, still is. Because
oh yes, oh yes.
Francesco, I get asked so many times, and you know more than me, obviously, because you work with water. So they ask me all the time, how dirty is the water of Venice? How
So
polluted? So,
So the water of Venice, first of all, we have new water twice a day. So
mhm,
this is something that people just walking around might not see, but we have tides. So the
yeah,
water goes down, uh, up
in,
and
out.
down.
Hmm.
So with the incoming tide, the water, we have new water coming in. Uh,
Hmm.
However, yes, the lagoon, it's quite polluted, mainly for the traffic, the high traffic that there is now, and
Hmm.
the fact that there are still not very strict rules for the
Mm,
emissions. So for about, engines and
mm,
their emissions. Uh,
hmm.
and of course, but that is I consider it a natural side of the pollution. There
Mm.
are some buildings that still have the old type of sewer system,
Of
which
course.
having a tank with different filters. So
Hmm.
the last tank has a filter that goes into the canals, but what goes in the canals is basically is
Yeah,
transparent, is
yeah.
has been eaten by all the bacteria.
Hmm.
Whereas all the commercial activities, they have the septic tank
Of course.
collect, all the dark waters, and they get empty several times every year.
Hmm.
So there are many spots of the lagoon, especially areas where you are not too far from the big water intakes that
Hmm.
separate the lagoon with the ocean, the open sea, where the water can be extremely clean, and
Hmm.
where swimming can be very, very pleasant and nice
Above
because
all, right
surrounded
now.
by yeah, because we are surrounded by a very nice environment, but you are in the lagoon. In
Hmm.
some, in some part of the lagoon, you might even, touch and walk on the seabed. So
And less stress out. You're supposed to swim only in the open lagoon, so
yeah,
outside of the city of Venice. In the city of Venice, you're not
yeah,
by law. It's
you
illegal to
you
swim.
got
I
yeah,
mean, you
you
can
gotta think about
fall by mistake because every so often somebody
yeah, it's like if
fall
you
on the
swim in
water. But
Venice, it's like walking in a highway.
yes, it's
It's
dangerous.
same. Yeah, it's going swimming go for a walk in a highway or in a very important street where there
Yeah,
is traffic. So of course, swimming in Venice is first of all is dangerous.
yeah.
Second, it's also not allowed
Uh-uh.
because our canal can be compared to our roads. So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one lesson I learned going in your boats from your captain is your captain is in charge. You just do what your captain tells you to do. You do not start putting your hands out and try to help because you just can hurt yourself, as
Yes,
I did.
absolutely. I mean, the captain has a big responsibility because
Yes,
the responsibility of all the guests on board.
hmm.
Okay, there are insurance,
Of
but
course, but
anyway, they are, it's not an excuse to avoid caring,
of course,
about guests, about them to not get hurt, to not fall in the water. Because even though, boat is very pleasant and chill and, easy way to visit Venice, there are some, rules and some little things that people really need to look after,
Of
and
course.
to behave in a certain way on board, just to avoid,
Yeah,
messy things.
hurting themselves or causing damages to the city of Venice, of course. Yeah. Totally, totally. I think it's common sense, even though, as I said in another episode, one of my guests once said, the common sense is not common anymore, unfortunately. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So, what's the maximum guest can your boat take?
So my boats can take a max of 7 guests.
Oh, okay. So very nice and small groups then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yes. So as I was telling you,
Very
my
intimate.
boats were made, and I bought all of them with my partners,
Mm-hmm.
considering the fact that we want to do small groups cruises, so
Mm-hmm.
small group trips, because we like the fact that even in 1 hour and a half, 2 hour tour, there is an interaction between guest and the captain, because
Yes.
I think is what makes the difference. Because okay, having a good boat, a nice looking boat, is a nice business card, is a good presentation, is a good introduction to the guests. But if the captain is not able to interact and to talk
Mm.
to guests,
Yeah.
to behave, and make them living the dream of
Yeah,
Venice.
to convey the beauty of Venice, because
Exa-
it's a big difference between just driving a vehicle and actually make you live the vehicle. That's
exactly.
two different things. Yes.
Exactly. So, and first of all, it's very important to make the guest feeling very very confident in asking
Yes.
you questions, because most of time guests, they feel afraid, or they don't feel comfortable in
Mm.
asking you question about Venice, about any type of question, because they don't feel comfortable, or they might think that might be boring, or might be a stupid question. So
Yeah, or they don't want to bother the captain because they think, oh, well, maybe he doesn't know. Well, it just it is nice to have a captain that is willing to explain your things, because Venice needs to be explained. It's
yeah,
just
absolutely.
not, it is so unique. Listen, how hard was it to come back after so many years abroad?
Well, was actually very intense,
Mm.
because as soon as I came back, I started to work very hard in all the bureaucracy permissions. I
Ah,
was I was refitting my first boat, and
okay.
it required a lot of effort. And the funny story is that I started with not the best, luck that you would expect, because
Mm.
when I put the boat in the water, after 3 days, they called the lockdown for COVID. So
Oh la la.
yeah, it was a very unlucky way to start,
Oh
but
gosh, you sound like a few other guests that I've interviewed. That they started and then
yeah.
literally 1 week later they were had to close down. Mamma mia!
Yeah, but at the same time was a period of time that really made me, how can I say, made me, try the itineraries,
Ah, okay.
yeah, and start to, prepare myself more and more for
Yes.
welcoming the guests. Also to talk with make collaborations with hotel, with agencies, because
Hmm.
of course we all had a massive time with,
Of course.
time for you know, um,
Oh yeah, I know. Trust me. Everybody was baking bread, and I
yeah,
wasn't, but
yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing other things. But
I
yeah,
was making pizza every day.
yeah.
So.
See.
And the summer 2020, it was nice because I started to work, in the middle of the summer, so
Hmm.
mid-July, August, and I was working with neighbor people, like people from Italy. A lot of
Yes.
Italians were coming to Venice, a lot of
Hmm.
people from, Germany, Austria, France,
Yes.
and they were all driving to Venice. So
Yes.
was nice to have this type of Europeans.
Well, it was one way to kind of test the water. Pardon my pun, but to try to get also to understand if it's, if it will work, it will not work. European guests are slightly different from, overseas guests. So it kind of
Absolutely,
give you
yes.
a little bit of help. And I know, I did exactly the same. I had a couple of new things that I added to my tours and stuff, and I wrote 2 books in the meantime or whatever. So I know it was lockdown was bad, but for many of us it was actually, let's say, good. It was one
Yeah,
way to a rebirth, let's say.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so what's your next plans? Adding more boats, getting more boats, increasing the fleet,
No, no,
changing, going to move to another country or something?
no, for the moment, my plan is not to implement my boat fleet, but is actually to uh, to create more stronger collaborations
Mm,
with the hotels and
mm-hmm,
with my brand identity. So,
mm,
and of course, another type of business that I like to start, actually that I already started, but to improve,
push. Mm,
yeah, is to organize B2B business trip. So small
mm,
groups of people, might be 10 up to 25,
mm-hmm.
that are spending a business holiday, a business
Yes.
trip to Venice,
Team
and
building, team building.
yeah, team building trips, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And organize for them all the experiences, all the basically all the activities that
Uh-huh.
can be done during their stay. And in fact, in March, I had the opportunity to work for two big brands. One is AC Milan, and the other is the Puma, the brand.
Oh, wow.
I organize for the management of these two big firms their holiday in Venice,
Wow.
and with all the activities connected. So, and this was
Cool.
a very, nice way to start.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, because it's something that I really find myself uh, quite good at, to
Mm-hmm.
organize this type of activities and customize activities for these guests. And with the purpose to do team building, exactly what you said at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
because the purpose of these holidays is not only to 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 organize everything so nice for them, but is also to make them leave the city with a stronger relationship between them.
Exactly. Exactly. And one thing, all of your captains speak at least one language, right?
Yes,
Well,
yes.
two languages, sorry, because of course they speak Italian and
Yeah, yeah,
Venetian, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
meant like they speak our
Yes,
English or something
yeah,
else.
yeah. They
That's
all
good.
speak. They all speak English. One captain, Nicola, actually speaks also French and a little bit of just a little bit of German, but yeah,
Good.
English very fluent and French.
Mm-hmm.
I understand French because
Of
I lived in
course.
France for 2.5 years, but my vocabulary is quite terrible because
It's okay. You can talk about food and wine in French. That's all that matters. It's the important thing. As long as people can talk about food and wine, that's all that matters in the world. Listen, Francesco, where can people find you?
So people can find me on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
or Deep Blue Venice, or they can find me on Google page, so Deep Blue Experience. And basically, these are the two main channels that I use.
Why haven't you got a website?
So the website is something that we will build this winter. It's
Good.
something that it takes time, and it's
Oh,
something.
trust me, I know. I make websites, so I do know. It's
Yeah,
okay.
but
I build.
something that for my business is still very kind of institutional. I mean, it's important because, of course, it's a good business card, because guests can see
Of
that you have
course.
a website. But now I can see from my reports that a lot of people book through agencies, through
Hmm.
typing on Google, so
Okay.
finding on Google and on Instagram. People
Hmm.
use a lot of Instagram
I
for
know.
booking their holidays.
Yeah, but our website is also good because you can put all your fleet, you can put who you are.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of gives you some authority also on social medias and
yeah.
and on Google as well.
I- Yeah,
Trust
yeah,
me.
I absolutely agree with you.
Mm.
Another place that where another platform where people can find me is Airbnb Experience.
Ah, okay. You
It's a
connected with them as
financial
well.
Airbnb proposing experience. Is Airbnb always gave me a lot of work,
Mhm.
and although of course they charge for commission, but
Yeah, but okay, that's another story. Let's not go
another
into that.
story. But
Let's not
okay,
go. Let's not
they
go and
provide.
talk about Airbnb.
No, but they provide a service, so of
Of
course.
course, of course, of course, because we're talking about you.
Yeah.
Okay, Francesco, it was so nice talking to you, and can't wait to come back on one of your boats. And you should offer my book to your clients. Since you're going around the islands.
Yes, why
You
not?
want?
Yes, it
Yeah,
can
we
be
should.
an
Okay,
idea.
listen. Speak to you soon. Thank you again for talking to us. And
Thanks
I'm
for the
gonna see you in
invitation.
Venice hopefully pretty soon. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, Monica. Ciao. Have a
Ciao,
nice
ciao, ciao.
day.
Thank you so much, Francesco, for chatting to us. You can find Francesco and his team on Instagram as deepblue_Venice. Thank you again for listening. Venice Talks podcast is a production of Sentire Media, created, produced, and hosted by me, Monica Cesarato. Follow Venice Talks wherever you get your podcast, and if you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me over at www.monicacesarato.com and on all social medias with the handle @monicacesarato, where you can follow my adventures around Venice. And don't forget, if you love this episode, please rate it and leave a review. It's very much appreciated.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.